Hey, what's up, chat? Welcome to the Unit 8 study guide. As always, this video is best used only after you have attempted to answer each of the questions yourself. And so in this video, I'm going to be writing some notes. I want to encourage you, if you didn't write anything down and all you have is circled answers, hey, write everything down. Take some notes, justify your answer. That way it can sort of lock in and better help you prepare for the unit test. All right, so let's dive in. All right, so question number 1. It says the graph of y equals 1/2 x is shown below. A constant is added to the equation, changing it to y equals 1/2 x minus 2. What statement below describes the new graph? Okay, and so we have our original graph was y equals 1/2 x, and then it changed to 1/2 x minus 2. Okay, and so in the first one, right, we have this equation where the y-intercept is 0, right, and that's why there is no b here, right? And then it changes, and now instead of having a y-intercept at 0, now it has a y-intercept at -2. Okay, so this is our y-intercept, and now it is going to be right here at -2, right? And then up 1 over 2, okay, down 1 over 2, and this is our line right here. Okay, so what happened to? Well, when we look at it, we see that it has shifted down 2 units, okay? And I know that it is shifted down 2 units because that's what happens when I change the y-intercept. It caused the graph to go down to -2, all right? So that is the answer for number 1. The answer to number 1 is D. Question number 2. Identify the slope and the y-intercept. So we're looking for the slope and the y-intercept. Well, the slope is the m and the y-intercept is the b. When it is written in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. All right? And so this is just real simple. I'm just identifying my m is my slope, my b is my y-intercept. So my slope equals 2. And then my b equals 1/3. Okay, so that is B. All right. Question number 3. Okay, it says which graph has a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of -1. Right. So I'm looking at my graphs, and I always want to, when I'm looking at my graphs, I can start my y-intercept is my starting point. Okay, because that is where it crosses the y-axis. Okay, so I know it's going to cross at -1. Well, this one crosses at 0. That's the y-intercept, so that can't be right. For B, this crosses at -1, okay, which is my y-intercept, so that could be a choice. This also crosses at -1 too, so that also could be a choice. And then for for D, it crosses at -1, but it's a flat line. It doesn't have a slope. So that D is not correct. So I am between letter B and letter C. Okay, now I can look at my slope. Well, my slope is 2, and that is a positive 2. So my slope needs to be positive. Well, if I look at C, this has a negative slope. Okay, because it is going down from left to right. And so because my slope is a 2, positive 2, then I know C cannot be my correct answer. So my correct answer is B, and I can make sure, again, if I have a slope of 2 over 1, so that means I'm going up 2 and then over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and that is correct. All right. Question number 4. Okay. Elizabeth is folding pairs of socks after doing laundry. The more socks she has, okay, so socks is S. The more pairs P she is able to make. What situation can be modeled in the linear function with the two variables S and P. Okay. Now, for this one, there are two answers here because they say the same thing. They're just kind of reversed. P is the dependent variable and S is the independent variable. And the way I want you to think about this is I want you to think about these two in terms of like cause and effect, right? And so the independent is what is like the cause and the dependent is the effect. In other words, which one is dependent on the other? Well, the pairs are dependent, okay, they are dependent on the socks. So therefore the pairs, okay, the more socks I have, the more pairs I can make, all right? And so therefore that's what this explains. P is the dependent variable and S is the independent variable, all right? On the test, obviously there's only going to be one correct answer there, but that was a typo, all right? So here we go. Question number 5. Which of the following represents y equals x minus 1? Well, the first thing I know is that this -1 is my y-intercept. And if that's my y-intercept, then that means I have a point that is 0, -1, because that's where it crosses the y-axis. So I'm looking for any point that has 0, -1. Well, the first one has 0, -1. The second one has 1, negative. So that can't be, I'm sorry, it has 0, 1, but it needs to be a -1, so that's not right. And the other two don't have my y-intercept, okay? Now, technically, that doesn't automatically mean that it's not correct, okay? So what I want to do is I want to check and see, right? When I put in x, does it give me the correct y, right? So when I put in 1, okay, so 1 minus 1. Let's just do it real quick. 1 minus 1. When I put in 1 for x, 1 minus 1, does that give me 0? Of course it does, okay? When I put in 2, 2 minus 1. When I put in 2 for x, okay, does that give me 2 minus 1 is 1? 3 minus 1, right? So I see that that is the correct answer. So I have to be careful to make sure I actually check all of them, okay? There is a way that you could just put this into Desmos, and I'm going to show you that. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and show it to you now. All right, so this is one way that you could do this problem. So the other way is we could actually just put that into Desmos. So I'm putting in y equals x minus 1. And then I'm going to tell it what x equals. Well, x equals 0. Well, when x equals 0, what does y equal? Y equals -1. And we see that that is correct. All right. Then when I put in x equals 1, it gives me 0. Okay. All right. When I put in x equals 2, okay, it gives me 1. So I see that each of them is correct. And so this is another way I can plug it into Desmos and then just plug in my numbers and make sure I get the correct y. All right. Moving on. Question number 6. All right. It says, which graph represents the linear function? Okay. When I start these, I want to start by kind of identifying the pieces that I have. The -2, that is my slope. Okay. So I have a slope that is -2. -2 over 1. And then the +1, that is my y-intercept. Okay. So I'm crossing the y-axis at a +1. Well, this one crosses at -2, so that can't be right. This one crosses at -1, so that could, no, I'm sorry, no. A +1. So this crosses at -1, so that can't be right. This one crosses at +1. That's the y, so that could be. And then this one also crosses. So I am between C and D. Well, again, I have a slope that is a -2. Okay, so I'm looking at which one of these has a negative slope. Well, is this one, okay, let me make sure, because that's a positive slope, so it can't be that one. So then I go up 2, back 1, up 2, back 1, or down 2, over 1. And I see that C is the correct graph there. All right. Number 7, a flower shop is making bouquets for a wedding. Each bouquet contains 3 roses, so each bouquet contains 3 roses for every 1 tulip. Okay, so I got 3 roses, and that equals 1 tulip. Okay, for every 1 tulip. All right, so let's see. When I have, okay, so I'm just, again, I know I have a slope of 3, so it's go up 1, 2, 3 over 1. Okay, this is, all right, yeah, so that works. Again, when I go, this is 6 roses, okay, because again, this is the 6 roses and then 2 tulips, right? So A is my correct answer. When I have on letter B, okay, this is a point on my graph right here, but this says 3, and it's 3 tulips. These are tulips for every 1 rose. That's not right. Okay, this is a point on my graph, and this one says 2 tulips for 2 roses. That's not correct. And then this one just says that it always has 3 roses regardless of the number of tulips. And that is not correct. All right. Okay. Now, let's look at the next one. Okay, which table represents the graph below? All you have to do is think about each table and just graph the ordered pairs. Just graph the ordered pairs. Okay, so 1, -1. I'm sorry, 1, -2. So back 1, I'm sorry, forward 1, -2. That would be right here. Is that a point on my line? Nope. So I know it's not that one. Okay, now let's go 4, -4, 2, 0, 0, and then 4, -2. Okay, so -4, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 2, 1, 2. Okay, that's a point. 0, 0, that's right there at the origin, that's a point. And then 4, -2. 1, 2, 3, 4, down 2, that's also a point. So all of these are points, right? And again, I could graph these other ones just to make sure, okay, but for the sake of time, I'm going to continue on. But I would just graph -2, 1, -1, 0, 0, and so on and so forth. Actually, let me make sure. I think this was another one I had. So that's -2, -2, oh, -2, yeah, -2, and then -4. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, moving on. Okay, so question number 9. Okay, we have a table and we got to figure out which one of these match. Okay, and here is where I want to show you. Okay, I think the easiest way is to just use the Desmos calculator. And I want to show you I can put in all of these equations, right? So I'm going to put in y equals 4x minus 3. Then I'm going to put in y equals 4x plus 4. Then I'm going to put in y equals, so I'm just putting in every one, x minus 3. And then y equals -3x plus 4. Okay, so again, I've typed in all of my answers. Okay, now I'm going to tell it what x equals. So now x equals -2, and when x equals -2, I'm finding which one has 10. Okay, and that is the last one, answer choice D. Okay, but let's make sure all the other ones work. Okay, what about when x is -1? When x is -1, I'm looking for the one that says it's 7, and that is also D. Okay, and I'll do one more just for good fun. 0, 0, when x equals 0, I'm looking for the one that has y equals 4. And that is, again, it's right again on that one. Okay, so my answer is D. All right. Again, that's not the only way you could have done that. You also could have noticed that this was the y-intercept. Okay, and because that's where it crosses the y-axis. Okay. And so because of that, I knew that it had to be +4, so that I could mark those, and it could then be between B and D. All right. All right. Question number 10. Determine the linear equation from the graph. Okay. So here's what I would do. I would start by identifying my starting point is my y-intercept. Okay. So my y-intercept is -1, so that's my B. Okay, so I know it's not A, and I know it's not D, right? Because, again, it should be a -1. That's where it crosses. And then I'm going to use my slope to find the other points. Well, 3/2, go up 1, 2, 3, and then over 2. That's not a point on my line, so it's not B. And then 2/3, start here, 1, 2, over 1, 2, 3. That's a point. Okay, so my answer is going to be C. All right. Number 11. Okay. What situation best represents the graph? Okay. So David is going hiking and he's starting at sea level. Okay. So that shows that the y-intercept, my starting point, is at 0. And then my slope is 1, 2 over 1. So my slope, I'm looking for one that has a situation where my slope is 2/1 or just 2. That's my rate of change. Okay. So again, every hour he ascends a foot. Okay. So if again, because my slope is 2/1, right? Because it's up 2/1. That's my slope. That's my rate of change. That has a slope of 1, so that's not correct. Susan has $0 in her bank account. Okay, so that matches the y-intercept. Every day she deposits $2. Okay, so that could be an answer choice. Devon starts collecting candy on Halloween. Okay, every minute he gains 3 pieces of candy. So that's going at a rate of change for 3. Okay, that doesn't match my slope, so that one's wrong. Jacob is in debt. He's starting off with a -2. That's his starting point, and then he saves $1, right? So that's the slope. Okay, again, I'm looking for one that has a slope of 2, so my correct answer would be B. All right, again, this one has a y-intercept of 0. This one has a slope of 1. This one has a y-intercept of 0. This one has a slope of 2. This one has a y-intercept of 0 and a slope of 3. And this one has a y-intercept of -2. And this one has a slope of 1. All right, so that's why, again, my slope is M, my B. Okay. All right. Number 12. What scenario is best represented by the equation, right? So again, this one has a slope of 5 and a y-intercept of -30. Okay, so my slope is my rate of change. Remember that. That's the rate of change. And then my y-intercept, this is kind of my starting point, my initial value. All right, so a driver descends 5 minutes a minute. So if he's descending, that's a slope of -5, okay, because he's descending. And he starts at 30. Okay, so my B is 30 here. Okay, that's not quite right. You buy a Nike ski from a friend. You owe him $30. So I'm starting with a -30. Okay, and then each week I'm giving him 5. So I'm making $5. So that's a 5. So that could be my correct answer. Okay, chicken farmer has $30. So his starting point is 30. Okay, that's a positive 30. And then he sells, if he's selling it, that's a negative. So gonna say no. And then you have $30 again. If he's starting with $30 in the bank account, that's a 30 positive. Then you save $5 each week. I need a negative 30 to start off with. So my answer is B. All right. What are the new coordinates of point A when it's been translated 1 unit down, 3 units to the right? So I'm starting at A, then I'm going 1 unit down, then 3 to the right. 1, 2, 3. And what are the coordinates for my new point? All right, so that's -1 and then up 4. Okay, easy money. All right, for the next one, we are reflecting this line segment over the x-axis. Okay, so I'm gonna highlight my x-axis so I know which one. This is the one that I am flipping it over. Right, and I'm gonna count the number of spaces it is from the line, then go on the other side. So that is 1 across, and then I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then I can just connect my dots. All right, and so what are the ordered pairs for those points? Well, this one is 1, -1, and then this one is -4, -4. So those are my answers: -4, -4, and then 1, -1. All right. Question number 15. Okay. Question number 15. It says, what are the new coordinates for point E when it's been reflected over the x-axis? Okay, so I'm reflecting it over the x-axis again. This is my x-axis. All right. And then after I reflect it over the x-axis, I'm also gonna translate it 3 units to the left. So first, count how many across. So it's 3. So I gotta go 1, 2, 3. And so my point is gonna be there once it's reflected, but then I also gotta move it 4 units to the left. Okay, so I'm sorry, reflecting it over the x-axis, and then I'm translating 4 units to the left. Okay. So now I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. This is gonna be my new E. Okay, and then what are the coordinates for that point? Well, it is -3, -3. All right, so my answer is A. All right. Number 16, it says in the graph below, we are looking for which one is not a translation. So when you are translating it, okay, so not a translation is a slide, okay? So again, remember in the slide, everything is gonna stay, E and F is at the top, so it's gonna always be at the top. Sorry, E and F is at the top, H, G is at the bottom, okay? So it can't, it's just those need to stay at the smaller needs to be at the top, the longer needs to be at the bottom. All right, so that's true for this one, that's true for that one, that's true for C. But then for D, you see how it's upside down, okay? Again, with HG on the top, and it was on the bottom to begin with, right? So again, HG is now at the top, while EF is at the bottom, okay? I just wanted you to see that, but again, it's a flip, okay? It's flipped there. All right, question number 17. It says, which graph correctly shows it reflected over the over the x-axis, okay? So again, I'm reflecting this house looking thing over the x, okay? So when I do so, again, it is gonna flip. Okay, so A was at the top, now it's gonna be at the bottom. All right, so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for which figure has A at the top, A at the bottom, okay? So, all right, and again, it's still gonna be in the same side, so we can just do that. All right, this is 1 across on this side, so it's gonna be 1 across here. That's gonna be my new C. 1 across here, that's gonna be my new D. Okay, this goes 1, 2, 3 across. 1, 2, 3. This is gonna be my new E. B B is 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. This is going to be my new B. And then A is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is my new A. All right. And so I'm looking for the one that matches that. Okay. This is a slide. That's a slide. That's just kind of made it smaller. The answer is D. All right. All right. Now, let's look at the next one. Again, we are translating it 3 units up and then 2 units to the left. All right. So I'm going 2 units up. I'm sorry, 3 units up. 1, 2, 3, 2 to the left. 1, 2. This is my new A. This is going up 3 over 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. This is my new B. Up 3, 1, 2, 3, over 2. This is my new D. This is going up 1, 2, 3, over 2. And this is my new C. And so now, connect these. All right, and so I'm looking for 1. All right, that looks like that. Okay, it is, this is at the origin for D. It's not right. This is way over at the -4 for D. That's not right. This one has the D at 1, 1. It has the B, the coordinates for A is at 2, 4. Okay, that's 2, 4. That's 1, 1. This is 3, -3. And then that is 5, 1. Okay. So again, I'm just matching up where it should be. And that is C. And that is incorrect. All right. And we are almost done. Okay. Which picture? This is before. Now it's been flipped. It's a reflection. And which axis? It's a reflection over the x-axis. Because if it was, this way, then it would be over the y. And translation is just a slide. And then lastly, which transformation? Well, I can go from here to this one, I reflect it, so that's a reflection. But then if I want to go from here to here, I can't reflect that to get there, right? So it is a slide. I'm just sliding it. So it is a translation too. So the answer is C, both a reflection and a translation. All right. Hey, so in this video, I have walked through the answers to the study guide. Hey, if you have any questions, there's one that you don't understand, please ask. Hey, like this video, comment, subscribe if you haven't, and good luck on your Unit 8 test. Guess what, guys? We just got one more unit to go. We got this. Yeah, let's go.